Maria, and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. So I think a lot of us in 2020 have been trying to find some creative stuff to do, in the house as we're kind of in lockdown, but not really, but yes. And so I decided to just start making some videos. And so this channel will be dedicated to things I've learned along the way as I'm navigating through life, and also as I'm navigating through our personal finance journey as we try to build our wealth in New York City, which is not always the easiest thing, but it's a journey. And so I hope that this channel and my videos help you out with any tips and tricks on how to grow your wealth, but also live your life as you want it. And so my first video is about how my husband and I saved $13,000 in 18 months. So we had to save this money for our wedding and our honeymoon, which we got married in 2018, and we had a year and a half to save up for the wedding and the honeymoon. And before I had to start saving, I was spendy McSpender. So I was just spending my money, swiping, not a care in the world, wasn't really looking at my credit card, was just like kind of paying it off, but also like some balances would transfer onto the next month and I didn't really care. And so when I realized that I had to save up for our wedding and our honeymoon in a short period of time, I knew I had to change my ways. And so these are just 5 tips that I found helpful when I was trying to save, and hopefully they can help you out along your journey. So my first tip would be to open up a high yield savings account. Now, because our wedding and our honeymoon was in such a short timeline, in just a year and a half, we didn't want to put that money into an investment because we could potentially lose some of it or lose all of it, which would not have been good. And so we looked into a high yield savings account, and you can get these with, Ally has one, Capital One also has one, and you can even categorize all your sinking funds, like change the names, which is helpful. We opened ours with Marcus because at the time the interest rate was just beautiful. It was so good. It's not as great anymore, but it's still way more than what you can get from the big banks. So those savings accounts are like 0.01%. Your money's making like a penny every year. Like, what is the point of those accounts? And also, I found it helpful to just have my money in one place. So this way I could just know exactly how much money I had, how much money I needed to save, and it wasn't mixed up in a big checking account with money for rent or money for groceries. So just having a dedicated spot for it is helpful. You should also just open up a high yield savings account, even if you're not saving up for anything, because honestly, it's free money. Open one, put your emergency fund in there, and just watch it grow. My second tip is to check your money. So, unfortunately, I don't think that you can just start, saving lots of money without actually knowing how much you have or how much you owe. And so I do think it's beneficial to check everything. So, check how much money you have in the bank account. Check any loans, any credit card debt, just to know where you stand. It's also helpful to then create your budget based on how much you take in, what are your necessities, and then what is out there that you can cut back on. So if you start tracking your money, if you really start looking at how much you spend every month, then you can see, things that those Sephora purchases that happen, late at night. When I started to save, I knew I had to really be regimented because I was spending McSpendy before, and I was, changing my money mindset to something different, and I needed to hold myself accountable. So for me, Mint at that time was just not going to work for me because the next day I would just look at it and be like, I guess I spent that. So I needed to actually track everything I did. So what I did is I got the Every Dollar app, and I did not pay for the premiums. I got the basic one, and I would put in every single thing that I spent. So I would do this on the train for going to work, and I would put in for the day before just every little thing that I spent, so I would know exactly if I was hitting a budget. If I was like, my restaurant budget was getting close, then I would back off because I knew I had to save this money for my wedding. The third tip is so simple, but so helpful when trying to save money, and that's to meal prep. It is so easy to just blow your budget on food, especially here in New York City. You can go out to get a salad for lunch and it's $20. And you're just like, what? I just put chicken and avocado on this. Like, why is it so expensive? And so we knew that in order for us to save as much money as we needed to, we really needed to hunker down on our food budget because we love to eat. So we were testing out new recipes every week. Some were complete fails and some we still eat to this day, years later. I also bought some nice Tupperware, so I've got these glass containers to make my food experience a bit better. Meal prepping every single week for a year and a half really created this habit in us to where now, years later, I bring my lunch every day to the office. And even my coworkers know. So I'll step out with them to get their lunch and go on a walk. And then I just go back to my desk and eat my lunch. So take some time on Sundays to do your meal prepping and then figure out what it is that you like. You'll find staples that you can eat often, or you'll have things on rotation, and this way you'll set yourself up for success. My fourth tip would be to sell some stuff. So we all have things in our homes that don't serve us any purpose. We have held on for too long, clothes that don't fit, that are just giving us bad vibes in our closet, and things that we can really just let go. So what I did is I opened up a Poshmark account and I sold a lot of clothes. It does take a bit of time to create the profile and then, to put it up. But once you have the post up, you're just waiting until someone buys it. And then when someone purchases, you print out the shipping label, put it in a box, and ship it. This was super simple, and honestly, I made a few $100s, which really helped me towards my goal. And so look in your home and try to find things that just don't serve you anymore and part ways. My final tip would be to give yourself some grace. Saving a lot of money in a short period of time is a long process, and it's not easy. You have to say no to people, there are things you can't buy, there are events that you can't attend because you're trying to save up for something bigger. So what I did to get me through this time was to just have some milestones. So if I saved up $1,000, I would go and get myself the most delectable and tasty pastry I could find to celebrate, and just had these other milestones that I would hit that would just help me along the way. And so you can have things like, let's say you buy yourself a nice lipstick when you save up $2,000, so that every time you're wearing that lipstick, you're like, I remember when I saved up that money and this was my reward. Like, it's just gonna make you feel way better to have something to actually strive for, because when you have to save for that long, it's such a long journey that it can really be tough to enjoy your life during that time. So cut yourself a bit of a break, get yourself some milestones, and you'll be at your goal in no time. I really hope that you found these tips helpful. They are simple tips, but I feel like together they can actually help you get to your goal a lot faster. And honestly, after our wedding and our honeymoon, I was so proud of my husband and I for saving all that money in such a short period of time, because, we did it. We sacrificed a lot and we were really focused on our goal, and I changed my ways and we got there. And so after that, I was like, what more can we do? And that catapulted us to now, focus on building our wealth while also not taking things for granted and living our lives. And it's been such a great journey since then. And so I hope that these tips are helpful for you wherever you are on your journey, and if you're trying to save up for something. And I'll see you in my next video. All right, bye.